Hey, welcome. Today we're going to flip the script on how you think about workplace rules. Seriously, forget the boring checklists and all the legal jargon. We're diving into how the smartest companies out there are turning regulations, yeah, the stuff most people see as a total drag, into their most powerful strategic weapon. Let's get into it. So, this is the big question, right? For years, the default thinking has been that rules are just a cost. A bureaucratic hoop you got to jump through so you don't get fined. But what if that's a massive strategic blind spot? What if all that compliance stuff is actually the secret ingredient to building a competitive advantage that nobody else can copy? Okay, first, let's break down the old way of thinking. I'm talking about the compliance trap. This right here is the trap. It's this defensive kind of hamster wheel mindset where the only goal is to just not get in trouble. Legal and HR get a checklist, and the whole point is to spend the least amount of time and money possible to just tick the boxes. It's all about avoiding penalties, nothing more. And you see this mindset everywhere, with all sorts of common requirements. I mean, think about workplace safety standards, accessibility laws like Ontario's AODA, pay equity audits, or even big data privacy rules like GDPR. For so many businesses, these are just seen as burdens, necessary evils on the path to actually doing business. But it is absolutely time to pivot, because in the world we live in today, a world of radical transparency playing defense isn't just old school, it's actually dangerous. So let's talk about a much more powerful, more strategic alternative. This question really just nails it. When a single safety issue can go viral in minutes, or when your company's commitment to accessibility can literally make or break your ability to hire the best people, well, that old defensive posture starts to look like a huge strategic mistake, doesn't it? So, let's reframe this whole thing. The old view sees compliance as a shield. It's defensive, it's just there to block penalties. But the new view? It sees compliance as a sword, an offensive weapon you can use to build value and create a real advantage. You stop thinking about minimizing cost, and you start thinking about building value. You stop trying to just avoid penalties, and you start creating a unique advantage. It's not a legal problem anymore. It's a strategic opportunity. Now, this isn't just some nice-sounding motivational slogan. This whole strategic shift is actually grounded in two really powerful management theories. So first up is something called stakeholder theory. And the key idea here is that a company's job isn't just to make money for shareholders. No, it's to create value for everyone involved, your employees, your customers, your suppliers, the community. So a pay equity law? That's not just a rule. It's a direct response to what your employees, your stakeholders, value. An accessibility standard isn't a burden. It's a way to actually serve your customer stakeholders. The second big idea is the resource-based view, or RBV. Now, this theory argues that a company's real, sustainable advantage comes from its unique internal capabilities, the stuff that other companies can't just go out and copy. And there's a great little framework that helps us figure out what those things are. And that tool is called the VRIN framework. It says a true strategic resource has to be valuable, rare, hard to imitate, and non-substitutable. Now think about it. Anybody can tick a box for basic compliance. That's not rare at all. But building a deep, authentic company culture that truly cares about safety or accessibility, that takes years. That is rare, and it is incredibly hard for your competitors to copy. Okay, so that's the theory. Kind of makes sense, right? Now let's see how this actually plays out in the real world with a pretty powerful case study. We're going to put two absolute titans of the banking world head to head, Canada's TD Bank Group and the international giant Bank of America. This chart just lays it out so perfectly. TD Bank was facing one of the strictest accessibility laws on the planet in Ontario, the AODA. Now, a lot of companies saw it as just another burden, but TD made a different choice, a strategic one. They decided to embrace accessibility as a core part of their identity. They invested in everything from talking ATMs to inclusive hiring practices. And the outcome? Their brand became synonymous with inclusion. That reputation is a VRIN resource. It's valuable, it's rare, and it's impossible for a competitor to copy overnight. Meanwhile, Bank of America focused on its massive scale and technology, a totally valid strategy, but it just puts them at a tech arms race with all the other big banks. TD, on the other hand, carved out a totally unique position by turning a regulation into their sword. So what's the big takeaway here? How does this actually apply to your career or maybe how you analyze different businesses? Here are the key principles you gotta remember. First, and this is a big one, compliance is a floor, not the ceiling. The real opportunity is what you build on top of it. Second, see every regulation not as a cost, but as a chance to build a unique capability. Third, remember that serving all your stakeholders is how you build a truly resilient, loyal brand. And finally, always look past the checklist to find that hidden strategic weapon. And hey, if you're thinking about your own career, this whole mindset points directly to some of the most in-demand fields right now. Jobs in data ethics, cybersecurity, user experience accessibility, HR compliance, they're all at this critical intersection of tech, law, and people. These are the areas where companies are desperately looking for strategic thinkers, not just people who can tick boxes. So to wrap this all up, let's look ahead for a second. There's a huge convergence happening right now between two really powerful forces, and it represents the next frontier of this entire strategy. See, most companies are going to use AI to cut costs, but the truly strategic ones, the winners, they're going to do something completely different. They'll use AI to create these radically personalized and accessible experiences for every single user. The competitive question is going to shift from, is our website compliant, to, is our AI a truly helpful and equitable partner for our customers? That is the future of competitive advantage. The only question is, who's going to be brave enough to seize it? Thanks for joining me.